All right, so the 8 reasons why you should not hire a sales professional. This is an important one for some of you who are the sales leader of your organization, even though you have 1 or 2 sales reps and you're out selling them consistently, or if not for years or always. This is for you. So if you're not in this situation, then the things I'm going to say today may or may not apply to you. For those of you that are doing this, you need to stop hiring sales rep for a couple of reasons. And that's why I guess there's 8 of them today, right? So as the CEO, you're the top sales rep. And what we see, I've got a client that we just brought on who had 2 reps. One rep's been with him for 15 years. One's been with him for 2 years. And the other guy is paying for himself, but not hitting quota. And in fact, he has targets, not quotas. And he's really good friends with the CEO. And I'm okay with that. That's 15 years. It is what it is. We'll ride that one out. The new guy, though, 1 to 2 years, and is not paying for himself. The CEO's handing them leads, handing them deals, clients that he knows, still trying to help him, but it's not the right guy. And that's ultimately what we end up having to do, is get him a correct guy. But that's not the point here. For those of you who have underperforming reps and you think the answer to growing your business was to go hire a sales rep, that's not necessarily wrong, but there's a different way I want you to think about doing it. And that's what we're going to try and cover today. So first of all, let's deal with number 2 here. Are your sales reps scheduling enough meetings to even meet their quota? So let's get into that. So a sales rep is going to cost you a good one today, anywhere from base salary, $50,000 to $100,000, depending on your market, to get a decent one. And I remind everyone, most quality sales professionals that are good in this industry already have a job. They're working for someone. And very rarely do they go on Indeed, LinkedIn, or ZipRecruiter and look for a job. So they leave your company. If they're a top performer, somebody recruits them away from you because you've got a bad relationship with them, or the company management changed, the compensation plan changed, or they're just tired of working for you. They don't believe in what you're about anymore. They don't want to follow you anymore, all those other things. And they leave. And they almost never come to you and say they have I'm leaving, but I don't have a job. Almost everybody has a job when they come and give you their notice. So the quality top rate folks are hard to catch. You get lucky every now and then, but they're hard to catch. So let's talk about the reps you've got today. I want you to think this through as I make this argument with you today at this point. So let's say your base is $60,000. Now we're going to use the rule of 78 to do some math. So the rule of 78, now, first of all, $60,000, what should their quota be? Somewhere around 270,000 K in GP. That's the GP quota for a 60K rep, okay? Using rule of 78, they've got to do $6,000 a month every month in MRR to pay for themselves. Now that could be 1 to 2 deals at $3,000 each, or of course we'll take bigger deals if we can get it. So now if you do that every single month for a year, it comes out to about 468,000 top line revenue, 280K in GP. They've covered themselves. So how many meetings is that to get to that point? So I'll save you the math. It's about 95 to 100 meetings a year to get down to closing 2 consistent deals every single month, or 1 big deal. That's what it takes. So if they're not anywhere close to getting to that point because they haven't solved the meeting issue, and that's where this is going. The issue today with most sales reps is a sales professional today usually can't prospect very well and consistently schedule meetings. That's the problem. And that's why they can't grow or hit their quota, because they can't schedule meetings. You're asking them to do something that they told you they could do when you hired them. Yes, they said, I can schedule meetings. Okay, and I understand what they were trying to say. They can schedule meetings, and every sales rep has some responsibility for doing that, but it can't be their exclusive job. Because think about it, how hard is that? If I did schedule 5 to 8 meetings a month, every single month, so that's 100 meetings a year. And there's a second meeting, there's a third meeting, and in some cases there's a fourth meeting because we can't close, right? But it is what it is. Those meetings all start to compound on themselves, and the sales rep implodes. Or they get confused, they start burning leads on first meeting because they're too busy trying to take care of the business that they've got. So and don't even pretend like you've asked them to also farm the deals, which means client solution roadmap, sell across the stack. If you've asked them to do that too, forget about it. All those things are happening, and I have a client up in Canada. They've asked one guy to do all 3 jobs. And he said to me, well, Gary, I can't project revenue from one year to the other. I said, I see why. Your guy can't project meetings. He can't project, he can't even give you, you've got a lot of business you're not getting from doing the client solution roadmap exercise, IT roadmap, what have you. There's lots of revenue there. He can't close first meetings because he can't consistently schedule them. So you got him stuck right there in the middle. You've got to separate these pieces out, okay? So what's the difference between a BDR and a sales rep? The BDR, business development rep, is responsible for doing one thing, and a new term today is called sales development rep for those that care about that. This person's specific job, only job, is to schedule meetings. 8 hours a day, their job is to schedule first meetings. Now, sometimes we have them schedule a second meeting and third meeting and ride shotgun and follow the process, and I'm okay with that, but their primary job and what they get paid to do, and you have a very, in fact, I think we gave you a business development rep compensation calculator. Go in there, take this calculator, plug in your number of marketing qualified leads that you've got, and it'll and put in their base salary. It'll tell you what their commissions will be, and it'll also tell you if they follow schedule and quota, what your projected revenue for the year would be. We even throw in some money in there for projects based on the number of sales that you make. But this is an important thing to get down. Now, what drives this BDR's ability to do the meeting numbers is it comes back to marketing qualified leads, MQLs, not contacts, and not just leads. So you've got to have a understanding of what your MQL is, and I've been talking with you about that for a couple of years now. So, and I give you some math. For 1,200 MQLs, that's about 60 meetings a year. So anywhere between 5% to 10%, depending on your skill of your MQLs, of what you can expect to receive around meetings. That's a huge thing. So that example I gave earlier, where we're talking about 100 meetings, you need about 2,000 MQLs. Now, if you're better on the phone and better with your marketing and process and all the other things, you can push that number from 5% up to 7.5% to even 10%. My hat's off to you. But that's the baseline. So get the proper expectation. Don't give a sales professional or BDR 100 leads and expect them to schedule 20 meetings. They can't do it. Nobody can do it. So that's really important for you to get that down so you understand that. So the sales rep's job, going back to the difference between the two, is to close business. They're held accountable to doing that, bringing the business in. I always tell CEOs all the time, you have a contract and an understanding with a sales professional. We have a one-to-one relationship that we both understand. You're going to go out and close business, and I'm going to pay you, period. That's the expectation. That's our relationship. Now, we are friends out of the office, and we hang out, we play golf, we do other things. That's awesome. But that is our deal. And when that deal doesn't work like it's supposed to work, something has to happen. What I see all the time, though, is the sales professional come to you and say, hey, I'm close. I've got a couple of deals in the pipeline. I've got this, I've got that. I love my white elephant. It's going to come in. It's the biggest deal in the whole world. You're going to love it. Well, why don't you sit down with them one day and say, hey, Mr. Sales Professional, I love you. You're my buddy. You're my friend. We're great. High five and all this other great stuff. And you say, hey, this Friday, things didn't go really well. Pipeline was off. People didn't pay us. AR/AP stuff is all upside down. And I'm going to give you a check on Friday, but you can't cash it. I need another week for it before a few more deals to close before I can pay you. Well, see how long that works. Now, if you're not willing to do that to them, why are you willing to let them not perform and produce sales and still work for you? I don't understand that. That's the trade-off. So as long as they, and same thing with the BDR. Your job is to schedule meetings. If it's 2 a week, 3 a week, 4 a week, whatever it is, we give your time and the ramp time to get into it. But once we're there, that is the number. And we have to have that kind of understanding. Now, going back here to a couple more of these lists before I run out of time here. What about outsourcing? Some of you want to outsource. I'm a fan of outsourcing in the right situation. And here's a couple of them. Now, let me back up. If you're going to build or you want to build a sales organization, then it doesn't make sense to outsource. You got to learn how to do it. That's the key here. Now, a lot of you I'm talking to today, you are phenomenal engineers. You got all these certifications. You're a great technical leader. You might be a great CEO as a leader. but you're not very good at growing and building a sales organization, and you don't understand the sales function in the true sense of it. I was on a call with a guy the other day, and I was giving him some metrics around just making calls. How many DM conversations do you have with on an average day of a gross call volume? Some of those metrics, expectations around quotas, expectations around just the meeting stuff we just talked about. If you're not in this space and don't understand sales, and a lot of the sales professionals you hire, they do understand this. They've been around a long time. All the time you've been spending learning how to be great at solutions and be a great architect and all these other things, they've been learning how to do sales and sales operations. So you've got to learn how to do this. You got to get your sort of certification or your SME at sales as a sales leader, and it's not easy. So if you don't get that, get the time or take the time to get the training, you're going to be taken advantage of, which just happens a lot of times by a whole bunch of guys that are really, really nice guys. You know, you always get taken advantage of by really, really nice guys. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me, Gary, the guy took advantage of me, but you know what? He was kind of a jerk. He wasn't a very nice guy. I've never heard that. It's always he's unperforming, he hasn't closed anything but a door, and he's just such a hell of a nice guy. Okay, I get it. We got a lot of nice guys and girls out there, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for people that can close. So back to outsourcing. If you're going to outsource, a couple things you want to look for. They got to be willing to let you role play with the BDR rep that they give you. They got to set meetings only, pay for meetings only. So 5 meetings a month, 8 meetings a month, whatever that number is. And if they don't meet the number at the end of the year, they call until they're doing it, until they complete it for free. You got to copy your line card. You got to know how to scrub lists. You got to be confident they've been able to do that. They have to understand the industry that we're in its entirety. And that meetings guarantee is a big deal. If they don't have those things, pass. Don't fall for the presentation of we're going to learn your business. We're going to put 25 hours into this. Don't do it, please. Now you say, well, Gary, do you know somebody that does that? Yes, I do. And if we get on a call, I'll tell you. If not, just email me and I'll send you their name. They have 110 MSPs that have been calling for the last 5 or 6 years. I have 3 clients that have been using them for 4 years. 4 years. How many marketing companies has lasted that long? That says how good of a job they do at what they do, and they're a fantastic organization. So if you're looking for that, let me know. So let me leave you with this. If you're the sales leader and the CEO of your organization, please stop hiring sales professionals. If you're the sales leader and CEO of your company, please stop hiring sales professionals. Hire yourself a BDR. You and the BDR get into business together, figure out how to schedule meetings consistently every month for at least 2 months, if not 3 months. And once you've done that, you've closed enough business to pay for the sales professional, and you generated a written, documented process on how you want them to do it. So you can build expectations into the process for when you do hire a person. And you can save yourself a lot of money and aggravation dealing with a sales professional if that's not something you're good at doing. Please, if you're the sales leader and CEO, please stop hiring sales professionals. Gary Beecham, SPC International, thank you very much.